If you have been staring at Stata and you don't even know where to begin, this video is going to change everything for you today. I'm going to show you how to run your first regression in Stata from absolute scratch. No assumption that you already know something, no skipping steps, no plenty grammar, just simple, clear, and step by step. And I want you to do this with me as I go. Open your Stata right now, because by the time this video ends, you will have run your first regression. Not watch somebody else run it. Run it yourself. Stay with me. Let's go. Before we start, let me tell you something quickly. I am Dr. Yemi, university lecturer, researcher, and academic mentor. I have been teaching data analysis and research methodology for 7 years, and I have worked with hundreds of postgraduate students who sat exactly where you are sitting right now, confused, overwhelmed, and wondering if they are even cut out for this. They are, and you are. The reason Stata feels hard is not because you are not smart enough. It is because nobody has sat down and shown you properly. And that is what I am doing today. And if at any point you get stuck or you want me to walk through your data with you personally, link to book a consultation session with me is in the description. But first, let's get you started for free right now. Now, before I show you how to run a regression, let me make sure you understand what regression actually is, because if you run it without understanding, you will not know how to interpret your results. What is regression? Regression is a statistical method that helps you understand the relationship between variables. Specifically, regression helps you understand if one variable affects the other and by how much. For example, does household income affect food consumption? Does level of education affect agricultural productivity? Does access to credit affect farm output? If your question is asking whether one thing affects another thing, regression is your tool. There are two main types we will cover today. Simple linear regression, meaning one independent variable affecting one dependent variable. The second one is multiple linear regression, two or more independent variables affecting one dependent variable. Most postgraduate research uses multiple regression, but we will start with simple so you understand the foundation first. Are you ready? Let's go. How to import your data into Stata. Step 1. Get your data into Stata. I'm going to assume you have your data in an Excel file. That is the most common format most postgraduate students use. Now go to File, click on Import, select Excel spreadsheet. A dialog box will open. Navigate to where your Excel file is saved, select it, click Open. Now, here is something very important that most people miss. Make sure you tick the box that says Import first row as variable names. If you do not tick this, Stata will treat your column headers as data and your entire data set will be confused. So click OK. Your data is now inside Stata, right? You will see it appear in the data editor. Now, before you do anything else, save it as a Stata file. Go to File, Save As, give it a proper name, something that uniquely identifies this data set. Not data 1, not final data, please. Use a proper descriptive name. Why are we doing this? Because if you close Stata without saving as a .dt file, you will have to import all over again. So save it now. This will save you stress later. Let's move to how to check your variables. How to check your variables. And this is step 2. Checking your variable before you run anything. This is the step most beginners skip, and it is the step that causes the most problems. Now, type this command in your command window. Describe, as simple as that. Then press enter. Stata will show you a list of all your variables, their storage type and their labels. Look at it carefully. You want to make sure your dependent variable, the one you are trying to explain, is numeric, not string, not categorical, numeric. If it shows as string, it means Stata is reading it as text and you cannot run a regression on text. Now type this, summarize, press enter. This gives you the basic descriptive statistics for all your variables: mean, standard deviation, minimum, maximum. Look at your minimum and maximum values. Do they make sense? If your age variable has a minimum of 0 or a maximum of 999, something is wrong with your data and you need to fix it before you run any analysis. This is what I call the sense check. Always do your sense check before your regression. Always. Step 3. Running your first regression. We are starting with simple linear regression. One dependent variable, one independent variable. Now, the command to use is regress, dependent variable, independent variable. Example is this. If I want to know how income affects food consumption, I will type regress, put the food consumption variable, then income. You will now press enter. Your regression output will appear immediately. Now, don't panic. When you see all these numbers, we are going to read them together in a moment. Just run it first. Look at it and take a breath. Right? You just ran your first regression in Stata. Congratulations. I'm serious, that is it. That command, those two words, and your variable names, that is all it takes. The complexity is not in running it. The complexity is in understanding what it is telling you. And that is exactly what we are doing next. Running multiple regression. Now, let us run a multiple regression. Same idea, but now we are adding more independent variables. The command is regress, dependent variable, independent variable 1, independent variable 2, independent variable 3. So, for example, regress, food consumption, income, household size, education, then press enter. Same output, more variables, more information. The beauty of multiple regression is that it controls for each variable while measuring the effects of the others. So it is telling you, holding everything else constant, what is the specific effect of income on food consumption? That is what makes it powerful. And that is why most postgraduate research uses multiple regression. Run your own now. Add all your independent variables after the dependent variable. Separate them with a space, then press enter and let Stata do the work. How to read your output. This is the most important section. Please don't skip this. Now, this is the part everybody struggles with. The output is sitting there and looking like a table full of numbers that means nothing. Let me break it down for you simply. First, look at your F statistics and your prob, that's probability, greater than F. This tells you whether your overall model is statistically significant. If your prob greater than F is less than 0.05, your model is significant. This means your independent variables together are explaining something meaningful about your dependent variable. I hope this is clear. Let me know if it is not clear. So you put it in the comment section. I will read it and come back to give explanation. Second, look at your R square. This tells you how much of the variation is being explained by your independent variables. So if R square is 0.65, it means your variables are explaining 65% of the variation. The higher, the better. But what is acceptable depends on your field. Third, look at your coefficient. This is where it gets interesting. Each coefficient tells you by how much your dependent variable changes when that independent variable increases by 1 unit, holding everything else constant. 4. Look at your p-value. If the p-value for a variable is less than 0.05, that variable is statistically significant. It means it has a real effect on your dependent variable. If it is greater than 0.05, the effect is not statistically significant. Write this down. F-stat: is my model statistically significant overall? R square: how much am I explaining? Coefficient: by how much does each variable affect the outcome? P-values: which variables are statistically significant? Those 4 things are the foundation of every regression interpretation you will ever do. Common mistakes to avoid in regression. Before I let you go, let me tell you the 5 mistakes I see postgraduate students make with regression every single time. 1. Running regression without checking for missing values. First, missing value will affect your results and you will not even know it. Always check. 2. Including variables that are not relevant to your research question just to make the model look full. Every variable in your regression must have a theoretical reason for being there. Don't just include anyhow variable. Third, not saving your do file. Every command you run should be saved in a do file so you can reproduce your results at any time. If your supervisor asks you to rerun the analysis, you should be able to do it in 1 click. 4. Reporting results without interpretation. Numbers alone means nothing. You must explain what they mean in the context of your research. 5. Panicking when results are not significant. Results are still results. They tell a story. Learn to tell it. Now, let's quickly do a recap of what we did today. First, we imported our data into Stata. I hope you did that. We check our variables, right? When you use describe to check your variable, we ran a simple linear regression, we ran a multiple regression, and we read and interpret the outputs. If you did this with me today, just give me a yes in the comments. I want to know how many of you just ran your first regression. And if you got stuck anywhere, tell me exactly where in the comments. I read every single one and I will reply. Now, if you want me to sit with you personally and walk through your own data, not a general example, but your actual thesis data, the link to book a one-on-one consultation session is in the description below. That is where we go deep. If you are not ready for that yet, make sure you subscribe, turn on your notification bell, because next week I'm showing you how to interpret your results properly and write them up in your thesis. You don't want to miss that. This is Learn with Dr. Yemi. We learn it simple and we apply it correctly. I will see you in the next one. Subscribe.